Well, 3.5 hours left as Apple is getting ready to unveil its top-of-the-line iPhone along with 2 other new phones. Now, while the launch of the product is just a few hours away, here's a look at what we can expect on its 10th anniversary, the iPhone 8 and, of course, the iPhone X.
If it's a flagship phone, rumors and speculations are bound to emerge. And as one would expect, a lot has been said and speculated about the upcoming 10th anniversary iPhone. And here we compile all that for you. Apple is likely to call the 10th anniversary iPhone the iPhone X. And not only this, Apple is highly expected to introduce the iPhone 8 and iPhone 8 Plus alongside the special anniversary edition. Reports suggest that the new iPhone will include a high-quality edge-to-edge screen with a top-notch earpiece. Not only this, it is expected to come with an extra front camera to support 3D facial recognition. And for your better hold, the new iPhones could also get more rounded corners. Many dramatic changes are expected in the premium iPhone model. There are reports that Apple could get rid of its traditional home button that has been a main control feature since the iPhone made its debut in 2007. Another major improvement is expected on the camera front. The iPhone X is expected to feature a dual camera setup similar to what we have seen on iPhone 7 Plus. Also, industry leaks suggest that the new iPhones could have a vertical camera placement instead of the traditional horizontally aligned camera setup. The new iPhones will come with latest iOS 11, which was unveiled to developers at a conference earlier this year. Some speculate that the iPhone X will have a glass pack with support for wireless charging. We are yet to see how innovative Apple goes on that front. If rumors are to be believed, the iPhone X will be priced at around $1,000. That compares to a top base price of $769 for the iPhone 7 Plus. Though Apple has not yet commented on this. And what else? Get ready for new camera features, smarter Siri digital assistant, more memory capacity, and the potential for augmented reality applications in the new iPhones. Well, these are just speculations based on leaks and industry reports. We're going to hear on that from Apple very soon. Bureau Report, WION.
All right, a good perspective. And of course, the new iPhone, less than about 4 hours until we see it. The Apple launch, everybody is talking about it. Let's bring in our tech correspondent. We have Sahil Maniktala joining us here in the studio with the very latest. Everybody who's an iPhone lover, an Apple lover, is excited. What are the specs? What are the things that we can expect on this decade anniversary, Sahil?
So it's more or less confirmed that there will be 3 new iPhones. So that's the iPhone 8, 8 Plus, and of course the much anticipated iPhone X. Now the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus are going to be logical extensions of last year's model.
The 7 and the other ones, right?
Yeah, so not major upgrades, a few incremental upgrades there. But the real star is, of course, going to be the iPhone X. So you can expect that to have all the shiny new features. So we're talking about new OLED display, we're talking about better processor, a better camera, a far efficient battery. So that's the good news. The bad news is that it's going to cost you a lot of money. We're looking at about $1,000 at least, or even $1,200.
It's not cheap at all.
So yeah, so this year, get ready to sell both your kidneys instead of just the one if you want to buy the iPhone. So that's the case. Now the reason why it's so expensive, or at least one of the reasons why it's so expensive, is because it's going to be an OLED display, and apparently, allegedly, it's costing Apple $125 per panel to produce one of these. So yeah, it's going to be very expensive, no doubt. But talking about the display, there will also Apple's also doing away completely with the bezels. That's anticipated as well. So you're going to be now looking at a complete edge-to-edge display, much like the new Samsung Galaxy 8.
Right.
Apart from that, you're also going to have a new camera on the back, which should have a vertical orientation rather than a horizontal one that we've become so accustomed to. Also, Apple wants to go very big on AR, so that camera should come with depth sensing as well. Now, one of the biggest news that we can expect is that Apple is going the facial recognition route.
Okay.
That means to unlock your phone, now you have to basically unlock it via facial scanning. For the longest time, of course, it's been fingerprint scanning, but now Apple is going this way. And the good news is that basically now Apple you can also basically, according to reports, you can have your phone on the floor or on the bed or on the table, and it'll still be able to recognize your face because of that in-depth sensing, which means it can capture your face from different angles. There's also a report that they might get rid of Apple Touch ID altogether. But
Because everyone who forgets their password will be able to have that.
But we can't confirm that, because it's one thing to unlock your phone with facial recognition, but it's a completely different thing to unlock your bank account with. So you might be looking at a complete security overhaul. So it might not happen, but then again, it's Apple, so you never know. So in a nutshell, those are all the new features.
Lots of exciting features on its 10th
But we're only a few hours away, so if I missed anything or there'll be something new, I'm sure we'll find out soon enough.
Absolutely. You know, the one big question I think everyone's on mind, there's a lot of phones coming out, of course, Samsung and the other phones that are out in the market. Of course, the X and then the 8 and the 8S. Which one is for which audience? Are they certainly geared towards certain people, perhaps? Because it does come with a hefty price tag, as you mentioned.
Yeah, it does. You know, to differentiate yourself in this, heavy competition that we see, a flagship phone, needs to offer top-notch specification, top-quality specifications. The best display, the best processor, the best camera, the best multimedia experience that you can possibly give to a user. And I think the iPhone X should more or less offer all of that, and much more than that as well. But that now, if it's going to set itself apart from, let's say, the Galaxy 8 or any other phone, that's yet to be found out. We'll find that out soon, as that phone does come out.
Right.
But it's interesting to note that the iPhone or companies like Apple or any other company is becoming extremely difficult to source these top-end processors and these top-end components, and that too at large quantities. It's getting very difficult to do that. I mean, if you go by reports, the iPhone 7 32GB version cost Apple $220 to manufacture, and it's expected the iPhone X will cost $370. So that's almost $400. So with those margins, Apple has to come up with some, next level stuff, because if you're going to price a phone at $1,000, you want the best and nothing else. Phone 5S and 6, Apple has more or less stopped innovating. We've seen a few incremental upgrades here and there, a few nip and tucks here and there, but nothing revolutionary, mostly evolutionary. And it's not really their fault, because the smartphone market has saturated. I mean, how many more megapixels can you add on a phone? How much processor power can you add to a phone? So all of these things has contributed to Apple's that reign of Apple, that supreme reign of Apple, downslide basically.
Absolutely.
So when it comes to Apple, when it comes to the future of Apple, I think the future lies beyond the smartphone space. Okay, now Apple has to focus on other products, and to some extent they're already doing that with the Apple Watch, with the AirPods, most recently with the HomePod. Now what they need to do is keep a hold of those products and diversify on that, expand on that, and give the users the best user experience possible. And if they do that, I think Apple will be back in the game.
And lastly, before we let you go, are you going to buy the phone? Are you excited, or which one of the three? Or are you going to wait till 10:30 our time before you buy it? What are you leaning towards, if any of them at all?
Well, I like both my kidneys, so I really don't want to sell either of them to buy this phone.
The X is out then for you.
So the X is probably out. Look, the way I look at it, I think iPhone 8 and 8 Plus are going to do extremely well. They're going to sell in the millions.
And is that just a size difference, the 8 and the 8 Plus, kind of like the 7 or the 6
that's the size.
Plus,
so that's
a bigger version.
So your 8 will be the smaller version, your 8 will be the Plus version, the phablet version. So you'll have two of those versions. But I think iPhone 8, 8 Plus will do very well. They'll do very well in India. They'll do very well all over the globe. Now the X is a different story, because the X is extremely expensive, $1,000. So I predict that the most wealthy people will buy that. People who have disposable
probably
income.
Not me and you. We're not buying that.
Yeah. So not us, but those who do have disposable income will probably go for it.
Or perhaps our employees and other employers are watching, and they will lend us those phones to use, so we can do reporting in mobile technology, right?
Who knows?
We'll wait and watch. Thank you, Sahil. We appreciate that.